It's YouTube, babies.
Hell
So
yeah.
I was gonna do the over-unders again this year, but then I'm busy, so I wasn't able to look up the numbers for the different things, like we did last year. But did you hear this basketball related? Did you hear Middleton is out for the first, I don't know, however many games?
What is it still from the same surgery?
Yeah, he's still just recovering from that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. If I was a Bucks fan, and see what you think about this, if he comes back and he's doing really good, I'd fucking trade him for like multiple like not as good players, but that can play defense and shoot a little bit.
So you may have seen it too. Somebody was posting stats and in like three categories, one of them being like midfield jumper. He has the highest percentage and is like first place in the league. And it's like, yeah. And he's like that about 70% of the time. You
Yeah.
know, we always joke he's prime Jordan or he's Thon Maker, right?
Hmm.
Um, I just don't think they will. I think he wants to be a lifetime Buck, and I think they'll probably let him do it.
Yeah.
But man, each year that goes by, his trade value becomes less and less.
Right. And he has that fat contract and he's got like he's just so injury prone. Like that's the biggest thing. It's like
Yeah.
it's one thing when the player's not injury prone, but and it's also like it's also when he was the number two option, it's another thing too. But now that he's the third, maybe if Lopez is is doing good, he's the fourth option.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. But Monday Night Football. I've been watching one of them for the last few minutes before you got on here, but we've got the Baltimore Ravens at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I'd be blindsided if the Buccaneers win because that movie, The Blind Side. Yeah.
Okay, he played for the
I'm gonna go
Buccaneers.
with the Buccaneers because I just like Pirates. I like Pirates more than Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, well, right now, Ravens are up by quite a large margin,
Dang.
but I also am rooting for the Buccaneers kind of in general because of their quarterback, Baker Mayfield. I know you're not, I'll give you the quick rundown since you're not
I
a
know the
big
name.
football
I
boy.
actually
Yeah, but do you
not,
know like his story the last two seasons?
not really because I wasn't that the guy that was on the Browns?
Hmm.
Okay, so I don't know why I didn't know he wasn't on the Browns anymore.
I'll tell you why.
All
It
right.
all ties in. So the Browns had a choice to make. Do they keep Baker Mayfield, who had a not great season the year prior, or do they bring in like a 44 uh time uh what's the word I'm looking for? Accused sexual predator Deshaun Watson. And the Browns are like, sexual predator Deshaun Watson. So they dropped Baker Mayfield, who he played somewhere else before the Buccaneers, but now he's just having like a killer season. And I'm like, good for you, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
I hope you continue to play very well.
yeah,
So anyway,
man. That's why Cleveland sports are usually the worst.
hmm.
Like you guys are really outside of baseball, like their baseball teams are almost always solid, but like it's just like man, when you hear stuff about the Cleveland Cavs too, outside of like here recently, and then when LeBron was on there, there's just
Yeah.
a joke franchise.
And your quarterback's not gonna be outstanding every single year, unless your name's Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, or Tom Brady. So it's like, yeah, they're gonna have a not great season here or there. That doesn't mean you drop them the first second you get.
Especially since he's like, and it's one thing too, like, okay, you're saying that as a Bears fan who they just wouldn't give up on Jake Cutler, but
And trust me, I wanted them to.
I mean every Bears fan did, I think, but
Yeah.
it's like
Who's in
that was
trouble, by the way?
oh, why is he in trouble?
He got arrested this week for DUI and possession of a firearm.
Damn. Speaking of like really quick, just off subject, but with Jay Cutler, it's just this really funny thing. When I first started working out and I was on bodybuilding.com, they would have exercise programs like the Jay Cutler body, whatever. I'm like, the footballer? Because I didn't know enough, but Jay Cutler is like a Mr. Olympia.
Oh,
He,
see, I
like,
didn't know that. I thought you were gonna say that. It's like, oh,
yeah,
well, I guess I could get it if he's an NFL player, but
yeah. I was just like, that's so weird. And then like I saw a picture, and then I found out like later on when I started getting like more interested in bodybuilding stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, no, he was always like the Charles Barkley to Ronnie Coleman's Michael Jordan, but he actually won one time against him, and like unlike Ronnie now, where Ronnie's like his legs don't work because he was squatting way too much. Jay still looks jacked and huge, and he's
right.
like, yeah. So it's like, well, I guess he won the long battle.
Yeah, for real. All right, and then the second game, I think the second half just started. We've got the Chargers at the Cardinals.
Ooh, I'm gonna go Chargers because Cardinals are a baseball team.
Okay, well, I honestly don't know enough about either team, but I know one player from the Cardinals, and that's their quarterback, Kyler Murray. So I guess I'll go Cardinals there.
Like I just remember, I mean, it might have been like 2 years ago or something. The Chargers were really, really good.
I mean, they have been a few times in our lifetime.
Yeah. So, because I just remember like hearing ESPN radio, them talking about the Chargers, being like, "Oh, this is a really good team."
Yeah, they had Philip Rivers for a long time. He was their quarterback. Um, Between the two games, it's a shame that the Ravens Buccaneers game is not closer because both of those teams are 4-2. So, going into it, it was a pretty exciting matchup, but the Ravens are kind of running away with it. It's 34-10. So,
Well, still anybody's game.
yeah, they still have one more quarter. Crazier
Yeah.
shit's happened. So, all right, shall we get into our episode?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Two Worlds podcast. I'm Jake, and with me, as always, is the Rick Tyler to my Jesse Quick. It's Casey. What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. What's up with you?
Not too much. I had us reverse there for a minute, and I was like, wait a second, Casey's way stronger than me, and I'm blonde, so I have to be Jesse.
And Jesse and Jake, it's pretty close.
Yeah, it's close. And I'm Jesse's cool as hell. I'm totally fine being Jesse.
Yeah.
I I decided today that I really want to make an effort in the pretty near future to read all 25 issues of that Android Hourman series from 1999. I
You
was like,
have
oh,
all of them, right?
I do. I just have to dig them out.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, 25 issues isn't too bad. And the more I dug around online about it, I guess it's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I hear. Like fun fact, way back in the day, back when County Market used to sell comic books, I got it was a Wizard magazine that came with a free sample of the first
Mm,
issue of that Hour Man.
nice.
Yeah, I was just
That's
like
pretty cool.
I was like, this is my new favorite character because I was like 7. Like, was I reading it? No. Did I know anything that's going? No, I just thought he was a robot and he looked cool.
Dude, but he did. He
Yeah,
did look cool.
yeah.
I've got the Wizard um, issue number one half of Nightwing because
Oh,
that was a
nice.
thing. So,
Yeah, and you're like, I have to get everything that says Nightwing on it to complete it.
yep. And so far, I have.
Yep. Is with that collecting, like, because you are a fucking completionist when it comes to that. Are you ever gonna be like, I want to get all the variants, even too? Like, you go to a con and you're like, ah, here's all the variants that I don't have for Nightwing. Or are you not at that level yet?
I mean, if it's not a 1 in 50, I have it.
Oh, okay. Okay,
And
so you answered my question then. Yeah, you're
yeah.
gonna.
Now there might be some because the new 52 did incentive covers at very strange times. Like like during Rebirth, every issue of Nightwing, or at least during Tom Taylor's run, every issue had a 1 in 25. During the new 52, it's like, oh, issue 38 does, and so does number 11.
Yeah,
So it's just like, okay, I kind of need to see exactly what I'm missing and maybe track down what I don't. But to
yeah,
answer your question, yes, as long as it's not a 1 in 50 or I can find that 1 in 50 for like $15, you know?
yeah. Now, was there any variants that were like pre-New 52? Because I know they were doing variants with the two, like, but I know it wasn't near as common as it is now.
As far as I know, the only time they did a variant was like a second print.
Okay.
Um, so I don't know. I would have to look at that too. I don't think so for Nightwing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
there was
that's
only a few issues that did second prints. Like you remember that time when it was around the time that you and your dad were getting into Nightwing comics, but when Jason was dressing as Nightwing and killing people with that dagger, you remember
yeah.
that?
Hmm.
A couple of those issues uh, had a second print where like the background on the cover was red instead of blue or something like that. So
I gotcha.
anyway, all right, we did have one YouTube comment from user Gerbla, and it is in relation to our 4 spooky comics that we would introduce to people. So he said, number one, Sync, of course. Number two, Cthulhu Tales had some stories that will stay with me forever. Number three, Fall of Cthulhu was really wild, even though, spoilers, it's more about, oh my gosh, Nyarlathotep than Cthulhu. I'm sure I butchered that name.
I think with the names of the great old ones, it's kind of just like, yeah, they're kind of unimaginable to say, so you get close. Like
Right.
I do with everybody's name.
Yeah, close. And then
Jackie.
number, yeah, exactly. Number four, he also said Mountain Head. And then honorable mentions Nailbiter and Rico, the zombie shop. So, all right.
I kind of forgot all about Nailbiter, but that is a really good one.
Yeah. Uh, is that Williamson?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I've never read that.
Yeah, I'd recommend it if you want a fun book.
I like fun books.
Fun books about murder.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into the news, man. Most of mine are all new comic books that were announced at New York Comic Con.
Yeah,
So,
my one thing is too.
well, you go first.
Yeah. So we're gonna get some new Godzilla books. Through IDW, the first up's gonna be called Godzilla Heist by Van Jensen and Ramsey. It's
Sign me up.
it's 5 issues, and it's just Kaiju Heist. It's that book that I had read, and they're making a movie, or they were supposed to be making a movie off of. But it's like, Godzilla's attacking Britain, and these guys are gonna try to steal. Well, it's going on like you guys aren't even trying to hide that you're just stealing an idea. Okay.
Yeah. It
Um,
is a
the,
shame that it's a stolen idea. However, it sounds cool and I will read it.
yeah. And then we're also going to be getting a 4 issue series called Godzilla versus America. It's anthology style, and it's going to be like, I guess, different stories will be taking different places in different America and different spots in America. And they're kind of the way they made it sound and when I was reading it, they're not going to be going just like to New York or San Francisco. They're going to be trying to do different places. The first one's going to be Chicago. So that's neat. But at the same time, I'm like, how does Godzilla get to Chicago? Because that's a lot of walking that he's going to have to do since he can't fly.
It's true.
But the neat thing that they're doing, they're gonna get since it's anthology style, they're getting creators from the Chicagoland area to do the art and the story for it, which I thought was kind of neat. And there's a fun little variant that you can see with him in Chicago. And then lastly, we're getting a Mothra Queen of the Monsters book. I was kind of excited about this, and then I saw that Matt Frank was doing the art, but Sophie Campbell is writing it, and Matt Frank, like I said, is doing the art, and it's going to be out on March 5th. He's also not coloring it digitally. He's going to be doing it with markers, so it looks a little bit different than, you know, normal. It's a neat look. I'll give it that, but
Hmm.
he's kind of a dirtbag, so it's hard for me to be too excited about stuff that he does.
Yeah. All right. Um, I think, okay, yeah. Two Marvel things and then the rest are DC. We're getting an Old Man Daredevil by Charles Soule and Steve McNiven on the art. We just saw like a teaser image of Matt as an old man, and he kind of opens up the box that he's got his suit and stuff in. Um, I didn't get to read all of Charles Soule's run, but I know Casey, after a while, you warmed up to it and ended up liking it. So is that something that excites you?
Yeah, should be really good. And plus McNiven drawing Daredevil, old or young, I don't care. That sounds awesome.
Hmm. For sure. And then the other Marvel news, we're getting Ultimate Wolverine. That's going to be from writer Chris Condon, who he's got a lot coming up. Um, he might be one that ends up on our new talent category in the next year or so. And then art by Alessandro Capuccio, who does all of the Moon Knight art. So I wonder if he's moving off of that book because I can't imagine he can put out art that good for two
Yeah,
monthly titles.
yeah,
But that will see Wolverine as the ultimate Winter Soldier. Art looked pretty awesome from the images they showed. Obviously, I'm not really an Ultimates reader, so I mean, it is what it is. But if you are an Ultimates reader, I'm sure that that creative team has you pretty hyped.
yeah. I'm like you. I'm not an Ultimates guy. I'm not gonna lie, since it is a first issue, and if it looks really promising and there's not a lot of other stuff out there, I might pick up the first issue and give it a try. And then even if I like it, I'll probably forget that I'm reading that the second issue comes out.
Just like every X-Men book.
Yeah. But
All
yeah, I
right.
mean, I'd give that a try if, like I said, if the cards fall right for it.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, Wolverine and like a variant of the Winter Soldier's costume is pretty dope.
Yeah.
Okay. So, speaking of Ultimate stuff, they announced some more absolute titles. We were just talking about that last week. Um, Some I think we kind of knew about, but the one that we didn't know about is Absolute Martian Manhunter, and that's going to be coming out in March by Dennis Camp and Javier Rodriguez, who does Zatanna Bringing Down the House. So that should be pretty fun. I think it's going to be a lot of him as John Jones, maybe doing some detective work. So at least that's what the cover made it look like. So I'll definitely check out the first issue of that because I think that could be pretty fun and we know it's going to look awesome.
Yeah, it kind of sucks that we get an absolute Martian Manhunter book, but we can't get a regular Universe Martian Manhunter book. I also don't like the design for Martian Manhunter personally.
Mm, it's
Like,
very stylized.
yeah, it wasn't my cup of tea, but I'm like you, just the way it does seem like it could be a detective-y type book, it should be pretty cool that way. So I'm gonna have to,
Yeah,
check it out for that.
yeah. We're getting a Justice League versus Godzilla 2. Um,
Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong
yes,
2.
sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. I don't know if the artist is the same, but it is the same writer in Brian Buccellato, so I will not be reading it. He sucks.
The there was a picture I saw online because I'm in all the different Godzilla kaiju things, and it was somehow Killer Croc becomes gigantic and him and King Kong are fighting. I'm like, I'm in.
I know you're in. It's just the writing is going to be so bad.
Yeah. I'm not gonna expect it to be good, but I'm
Yeah, but
hoping
it could be better than it was.
I'm hoping it's gonna be kind of like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Godzilla, number two, where it's just like we're gonna less try to make a coherent story and more just fan service because we didn't get a lot of fan service with the last one, so I'm hoping more this time and it's gonna be better that way.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
that's
if
what I'm
that's the
hoping.
case, then, if you're like, no, Jake, you should really read the first issue, then I will. But
Yeah, I'm like, dude, Kong is still a Green Lantern, and and then Godzilla's got the Speed Force. You're like, okay, sounds dumb. I'm like it is.
and and King Ghidorah has the anti-life equation. There we
There we
go.
go. He's actually shooting Omega beams instead of the gravity beams.
Oh, that would look sick though. All right. Hush 2 is happening. That is the Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb Batman book that people were speculating on. Um, it will be uh, happening after Chip's done with Batman. So I don't think they're going to be the official ongoing team. It's just going to be Hush 2 is happening between the two creative team mix-ups. So the preview of that is going to be at the back of the issue of Justice League Unlimited #1. Um, so there you go. I know that's a book both you and I are going to be picking up, so I'm sure we'll at least flip through it and see if it looks interesting.
So what I don't, and maybe you can like make me remember on this though. Technically, wasn't there already a Hush too? It was like the Return of Hush or something. Like I know
Yeah,
Jim didn't do the art, but Jeff Loeb was still writing it, and people kind of hated it. Like
well,
that was a thing, right?
I think it was a thing, but this will be different.
Yeah. I mean, the Long Halloween stuff has been good. The last two things we've gotten, so I'm like willing to think it's gonna be okay. Like Hush is still I like I like Hush the first time I read it, then like the more I read it, I'm like I like this less. But
Well, it's never going to hit the same as the first time.
yeah, but it's just like I think uh I think this is the same with like a lot of Jeff Loeb's stuff. It's like the art kind of covers up some of his weaker points as a writer. So,
Yeah, but I mean, man, the way that Jeff's writing has been lately, maybe he's just gotten better over the
yeah.
years, you know?
Well, and then maybe, and I'm gonna say this too, because and this isn't like a knock on him at all, because it's a terrible thing to have happened. He lost his son, and then that fucked him up clearly for a while.
Hmm.
So maybe he's getting better with that,
Yeah, for sure.
But hey, guys, if this is a legitimate one, let us know down below. But if you want us to do like we talk about Hush before the new Hush book comes out,
Ooh,
talk about the original, we can do that. Get some people on here to talk about it with us. Hey, I'll send an email to Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb, see if they want to talk about it.
yeah, man, wouldn't that be so cool?
Like Jim's like, okay, Casey, I'm very busy, but since you asked nicely, and I'm the nicest person in comics, I'll only give you like 2 hours, okay? I'm like, dude,
We'll
that's
take it.
too much, Jim. He's like, no, no, you get me for 2 hours.
All right, moving right along. Uh, Jeremy Adams and John Timms are relaunching Aquaman. That's going to come out in November. So pretty exciting.
Yeah,
I think Jeremy Adams will probably crush a book like Aquaman if I had to
yeah,
guess.
I think it's gonna be great. I mean, it's also one of those ones that it helps. Like, I think Jeremy Adams is a great writer. I'm a huge fan, but I think it also helps that I'm not the biggest Aquaman fan. Like as far as having like I like the character, but I don't have like that lore knowledge in my old noggin. So it's like, yeah, you can do damn near anything as long as you don't just have him constantly going, I don't talk to fish. I could just communicate with them. I'm not a joke, I swear. Like Jeff Johns was doing, because that was getting old quick. But otherwise, I'm pretty excited.
Yep, I'll be checking that out as well. And John Timms is a very good artist, so
What's he done? Because I'm sure I've
he
seen
did.
stuff with him.
Let me see if I can pull up uh a quick list. I know he did some Harley, like New 52 era Harley, but he also did some Son of Kal-El. He did a couple issues of Action Comics. Um, I know he did a couple, maybe one or two Future State books, but he's just like he's jumped back and forth enough times where I'm like, oh, this guy's like really good.
Yeah.
But I think apart from Harley, this will be like one of his bigger ongoing titles. So,
Nice.
okay, and then I'm rolling my eyes and happy about this. Vertigo is coming back. Um, Nice House on the Lake, and Nice House by the Sea are retroactively taking that imprint. And this is where I'm rolling my eyes. It's replacing Black Label. It's so stupid. Why did
Mm-hmm.
they even fucking do this in the first place? Everything should have just been kept Vertigo.
Well, okay. So the thing I saw, they were talking about Vertigo being like the creator-owned book thing that they're doing. Keep Black Label as their weird multiverse stuff where it's like, oh yeah, Starman's coming back. That shouldn't be Vertigo. That should be Black Label, like that type of thing. And then
Hmm.
keep like books like Nice House on the Lake and all that. That'd be Vertigo. It's not that hard.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like DC sees other people doing imprints and they're like, well, we want to do that. And they just don't know how to do it.
Yeah. Just wait a couple years from now, the the Batman White Knight book, another one of those is going to come out and they're like, this is now Black Label again. Vertigo's dead. And they'd
Yep.
be like, oh, well, great.
I know. I know it'll happen. But it's hard not to be excited because damn, we've said it so many times. That era of comics was just so good.
Yeah.
So, All right. That's the news though. So what'd you read, man?
So I read Destro issue 5, Ultra, whoops, dropped my phone. Ultra Mega issue 6, Daredevil Woman Without Fear issue 4, Wolverine issue 2, The Uncanny X-Men issue 4, The Last Ronin 2 Re-Evolution issue 3, Green Lantern 16, and Batman and Robin Year 1 1. What about you?
Still not reading Domain, huh, man?
I didn't get the newest issue in this time. And I haven't caught up because I must have forgot to tell you to put that one in my thing.
You silly fucking goose. All right. I did Batman and Robin Year 1, Green Lantern 16, Uncanny X-Men 4, Wolverine 2, uh, Batman Full Moon #1, Dark Knights of Steel All Winter #4, Fist of Khonshu Moon Knight #1, and The Domain #4.
Oh, no turtles for you?
Nah, I just didn't love the first issue that much.
I got you, man. I
It's
think you
like
have
it's like I'm I'm getting to the point where like I'm liking the normal turtles. It's really hard for me to start getting into normal turtles and these new character turtles that I don't
yeah.
fucking know about.
The for me the hardest part about it is it's like and I'll talk about it too, but we get this is only the third issue and it started up in like what, March?
Yeah. I mean,
So
that's
it's like I like these
just like the first
characters.
series.
Yeah. The difference is though is like the first series we knew Mikey and then like everything else is just kind of like it's easier like to remember stuff. With this one I'm like I don't know these characters yet. I don't know enough about them and I don't get enough time with them, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
I
I'll talk
totally.
about it more when we get to that book. I think we have the same amount, so I'll let you go first and then
Okay.
we'll see on from there.
So The Domain #4 by Chip Zdarsky and Rachel Stott. I'll be brief. It's okay. There's some good character moments, there's some funny stuff that happens, but if you love public domain, you don't have to read this. It's just a companion piece. So I'll give it a 6. It's all right.
I gotcha. Alrighty, so Destro by Dan Waters and Andrea Bresson on the art. And so yeah, you get the two twins are talking to Cobra Commander and they're like, "Ah, we beat Destro. We're so cool." And then Destro's like, first off, Destro's such a dramatic bitch. They walk through like, the door and he's sitting there on his throne that's surrounded in fire. It's like, come on, Destro. You're the
Bit of a drama
dramatics of it
queen.
yeah. Like it's a bit much, buddy. But then like he's got three soldiers that are just taking it to the twins people and like the twins have the worst power in all of comic books. I'm just gonna toss this out there. Uh, like Destro punches one in the nose, hurts him, like hurts the guy that got punched in the nose, but then also hurt the twin too. Because they got that empathy connection thing. And I'm like, this is
Why not?
yeah. I mean, I knew that was in the thing before, but it's also like, what that's the dumbest power on the planet. Why would you guys get in a fight with Destro at the same time if you knew all he has to do is beat up one of you? But yeah, so basically they fight. Destro like shows them, yeah, I'm better than you. And then he's like, we need to just all team up though, because there's fucking giant robots out there that can turn into stuff. I don't trust this type of thing. So we need to just all work together. And so that's basically, thing. And yeah, it's really good. Like I enjoyed it. I'm really excited for the G.I. Joe book. It keeps like every single one of these comics pops up with like a little thing about it, like a little preview. I'm like, I'm not reading this because I'm just gonna wait for the book because I'm not excited for it.
Yeah.
So. It was a good final issue. I'm like I said, just hyped. I'm gonna go 8 out of 10. I'm
All
still
right.
weirded out that they haven't shown me Snake Eyes yet, though.
Yeah, I agree. Alrighty. Moon Knight, Fist of Khonshu #1 by Jed MacKay and Alessandro Cappuccio. Also, this cover's just sick as hell, in
That is
my
awesome.
opinion.
Yeah.
But it was very good. It was like this detective talking to one of her informants about Moon Knight. So they are the dialogue that's happening while Moon Knight is fighting his way through like this club. And then he gets to the person's green room who owns the club or whatever. And it's this guy named Achilles Fairchild and his bodyguard Carver. She's got a big old sword. And essentially, Fairchild moved into his neighborhood while all that bad shit was going down in Blood Hunt and got people hooked on a magical, we'll just call it like magical cocaine. They made up a new, they call it glitter. But of course, it's way more addictive than normal people drugs, right?
Hmm.
And so Moon Knight's like, this was your warning. Stop it or I'm gonna kill you. And so they have their back and forth. And then after Moon Knight leaves, you see the detective get inside of a car, and wouldn't you know it, she's a dirty cop and she's working for Fairchild. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. It was a fine first issue. It's clearly just set up for, regular old Moon Knight stuff again now that we're
Hmm.
out of Blood Hunt. So, it was still good. Art is awesome as always. So I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Right on. All right, so Ultra Mega Issue 6 by James Herron and Dave Stewart. Art's really great. It's so weird and crazy, and I just love it. Still trying to catch up and remember what the hell is going on. But I'm remembering it better than last time. Like last time, it was like a lot of stuff that was on the Ultra Mega homeworld and shit. I'm like, "Ah,
Hmm.
any of this stuff." But now this time, I'm like, yeah, I'm remembering. But look at James Herron's art.
Yeah,
Like it
it's
looks
something else.
awesome.
Hmm.
And so yeah, that's enjoyable and like yeah, it's just pretty solid. I mean, neat story. I'm into it. And I'm just like I want to know where it goes, and I hope by the time we get to issue 8 and it, wants to stop again, I don't have to wait 4 years.
Yeah, for sure, man.
So I'm gonna go probably 7. I liked it.
All right. Dark Knights of Steel All Winter #4 by Jay Kristoff and Terso. This book is super fun. I mean, the art is truly on another level. Um, but yeah, we find out the person that created like the All Winter Storm was the Dark Knights of Steel version of Mr. Freeze. And, so the lore was pretty neato. And, the kid that Slade is like trying to save is clearly some kind of avatar for the green, because they mentioned Swamp Thing being some like ancient guardian and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool.
Now, is Poison Ivy in that universe yet? I mean, could it be her?
I think she was in like the first series, but I don't remember what happened with her.
Oh, okay.
And I think this is supposed to be like way before or way after those events happen. It
Okay.
must be way after because like everything's icy and snowy. Um, so yeah, Grundy is working for Freeze, and like Slade and the kid, they like find this tower to camp at for the night. and Slade's daughter and also the witch that he kind of betrayed in the first issue both show up because they're teaming up. Uh, so there's going to be a fight with that next, which should be fun. And then the backup uh, is by Tom Taylor and Riccardo Federici. It's more Aquaman stuff, but the art's really good. King Shark is in it and has a fight with the Aqua Kid, and it's actually pretty enjoyable. So overall, just a really good issue. I'm gonna give it probably a 9 out of 10, and it's up there for pick of the week. It might be. We'll see.
Nice. All right. So next up, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin 2, Re-Evolution, issue 3, by Tom Waltz and Kevin Eastman, with art by Isu and Isaac Escorza, Ben Bishop, and Kevin Eastman. And so yeah, the new turtles all have different powers that we're seeing, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, like we get these turtles fighting stuff. It looks cool. The art's great. Like I said, the new powers are, yeah, all this stuff's going on, and yeah, I mean, it's good. It's just like, boy, I wish I was more invested in these characters because like we were talking about before I get got into it, it's like this is issue 3 and it's been going on for a good while now. I wish we got, could get more instead of having to wait this long ass time in between books. But that's really the only knock I have on it. I mean, it's a perfectly good book. It's nothing that's gonna I don't think anyone's gonna be like how we were with The Last Ronin, where we were like, this is amazing. This is like perfectly fine. So I'm gonna go 7.5. But there's nothing
Also
really to
makes me
say
glad
about
that
it.
I held off on
Yeah,
it then.
yeah. I mean, and with this waiting thing, like I think it's gonna make more people just buy the trade, like trade wait for it, because it's not really, I don't know. It's like if it doesn't feel necessary to be reading it when it comes out since it's so long of a friggin' wait.
Yeah, for sure, man. All right. Batman Full Moon #1. I really so the covers glow in the dark, so they have it covered, which is nice. But look at that, man.
Dude, that is awesome.
Yeah. And the book's pretty cool too. So it's written by Rodney Barnes with art by Stevan Subic. And the art is very, very what's his name? Andrea Sorrentino. Um, just
Yeah,
like good stuff.
hmm
So yeah, anyway, there's a guy who's a werewolf. He finds his way to Gotham. He's trying to fight the hunger. He's not really like uh, a bad guy, but the beast just kind of takes over. So we get a little bit of his backstory. He tussles with Batman once. Um, Also, Kirk Langstrom is like a big part of this, which is neat too, because like his lab, while he wasn't there, this guy turned into a werewolf for the first time in Gotham inside of his lab. So Batman thinks that he's like tied to it or whatever. Also, I thought this was strange. So this is like an Elseworlds title, but Bruce and Zatanna are like early stages of dating, which is just weird to me to read that, even though it's Elseworlds, because in my opinion, no one is good enough for her. And certainly not Bruce, right? Bruce,
I mean, he's better than Constantine.
true. But Constantine is a thing in this book too. because they mention him and he pops up for a hot sec as well. But anyway, um, yeah, and then uh, so werewolf guy ends up on the streets in like the really bad part of town, and these two guys find him and they're like, "Hey, come to this church." Um, there's one of the sisters there, like takes care of people here in this neighborhood. She can take care of you too. So they start having like a heart to heart about whether or not he can be redeemed in God's eyes for the bad stuff he's done as a werewolf. And wouldn't you know it, it's a full moon, so he turns and turns in this church, and then Man Bat like flies through one of the stained glass windows. So Man Bat's fighting this werewolf, and then Batman breaks in, and then it says to be continued. And I'm like, no, I want to see this fight right fucking now. So anyway, I thought it was cool. Dialogue wasn't my favorite, but this is fun, man. This is a
Yeah.
fun October book. This is what DC should be doing. So I'm gonna give it an 8.5. I really, really liked it.
Yeah, you're talking about being a fun October book, but they should have just came out with like, 'cause how many issues is that gonna be?
I don't know.
Yeah. Because they should have just came out with like one thick boy, $10, and then be like, yeah,
Yes.
because it's like this
Yes.
is a October book. It's not like it's not gonna hit the same at Thanksgiving when you're reading the next issue.
Dude, I know. I'm sure it'll be, January, February by the time it wraps up. But I would
Yeah.
much rather read this than, their usual anthology stuff.
Yeah, 100%. All right. So Daredevil issue 4, and this is by Erica Schultz with Michael Dowling and Ivan Fiorelli on the art. And I really like the art in this. It's funny that the Alice girl that's missing is like talking to Elektra on the phone, and there's this like assassin, and I think to myself, I'm like, okay, this boob is supposed to be like a crazy good assassin. Like, look at him. I mean,
Yeah.
and then sure enough, when he kicks like later on in the issue, he kicks down the door. He's like, oh, kicking down the door. And then he just proceeds to get beat up by Alice's aunt, who is the one that took her, and Alice. I'm like, okay, I called it. He is
Yeah.
a boob. But Elektra's fighting the new Punisher, and then they team up to take on the bad guys, and it was pretty cool. Like honestly, it kind of made me go like, I kind of wish I knew more about this dumb new Punisher. But like it's not enough to buy the back issues, but it has me like, oh, I wonder if there's anything on Wikipedia I can find. Probably not.
Yeah.
But then Elektra goes to where Alice is, and then she just finds out like, oh, it's her aunt, and I'm the one that's supposed to be watching her, and she's kind of a spitfire. The aunt is like if you couldn't tell from her beating up a an assassin with a baseball bat,
Mm,
she's standing up to Elektra. Elektra's like kind of got a girl crush on her just from she's like I like this little like this I like this lady, and they have a nice little moment, and it's a good way of writing Alice away until the next writer goes like I want to add some depth to Elektra. I'm gonna kill Alice, or I'm gonna make Alice a bad guy or something, because they're gonna do
yeah.
that in a few years. But yeah, no, I liked it. I'm probably at an 8.5. I thought it was good.
Nice. All right. Well, the way I've got them sitting here is Wolverine, Lantern, X-Men, Batman.
Yep, sounds good to me, man.
All right. Wolverine, #2 by Saladin Ahmed and Martin Kokolo. Yeah, you
Awesome
like that
variant
one?
cover. I love that variant cover.
Nice. Thought it was good too. And just to show both, that's the regular, which is also really good.
Yeah, that is awesome.
So yeah. Gosh, dude, the art in this is fucking killer.
Right? Looks so good.
And
The
I
I
thought
love
the
the story
story was
too.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
story was really good. It's I think this is the first time we've gotten a Wendigo story where there's some actual depth to Wendigo and he's not just some fucking monster. So anyway, for those that don't know, you get the Wendigo curse whenever you partake in a little cannibalism. But we
And
find,
specifically Canada too, I
yes,
think.
in Canada, you got to be in the great north. But we find out that this Wendigo is actually a kid who got stuck in a cabin with a friend. The friend died. This kid didn't want to starve to death, so he ate a little bit of his friend, which Casey, eat me. If I'm
Oh,
dead, man, even if I'm alive and you're starving,
dude,
fucking kill me and eat
th
me.
there's times at C2E2 where I was sitting there and I was like, gonna get me a bite of that old Jake booty.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. So anyway, this will be continued in the next issue. It does not get resolved in this one book, but man, it sure was pretty fucking cool.
hmm Yeah, no, I mean, I absolutely love this. This is my pick of the week, and I think the art's so good.
Hmm.
Salin Ahmed does just such a great job of writing it. It's like y'all need to be reading this book. This is way better than like I like the first issue. This is way better than the first issue too.
I totally agree. And between this and Daredevil, I think Saladin Ahmed is one of Marvel's best right now.
Yep, I'm at a 9.5 for this.
And I'm at a 9. It's probably tied with All Winter for pick of the week.
Right on. Alrighty, so Green Lantern by Jeremy Adams and Sermanico on the art. Love the art in this issue.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, we get the lanterns fighting a bunch of different lanterns and stuff, which was super cool.
We get
Uh,
Larfleeze.
yeah, Larfleeze, like he popped up in the last thing. We get Guy saving Joe, which is cool. I would act 100% read a Guy Joe book.
Yeah, dude, I think that'd be a fun one.
And
And why not? John got his 12 issues. Give
yeah,
them 12 issues.
hell yeah. I mean, since they weren't in Justice League, give them at least five.
Hmm.
And
Also,
then
the Carol stuff was pretty cool too.
that's what I was about to get to. Like one of the things that I think, and like this is just one of the things that would have annoyed me had Carol gone out there and done like the girl power moment where like, oh, I've not used this, the Star Sapphire hardly at all, and I'm gonna go out there and save Hal and John. Like that would have been annoying because it wouldn't have made sense. But then like the way they did this, where like she was still very useful and still was, like really awesome and what they needed her to do, she was able to do that and it all made sense. It all worked. I was like, yeah, this is perfect. This was a
Yeah.
very well thought out, well written moment.
And I like that little moment where Hal knew that she had done it too.
Yes.
Very good stuff. So yeah, I liked it a lot. It's probably like an 8.5 for me. Also, the cover is just fucking awesome.
Yeah. I do want to talk about this part too. So I'll show it to you because
Hmm.
Hal and John are talking, and like while they're talking, the bad guys are like, coming in on them, and they're like, okay, well, let's go to Oa, and they just their cars turn and their rings turn in these like monster cars. They just plow through all these people. It's like
Yeah,
that's awesome.
it was cool. And the
But
little shadow bad guy is pretty neat too.
yeah, so yeah, man. I mean, I'm probably at a 9. Like I just really enjoyed it. It's nice having a good Green Lantern book.
Absolutely. All right. The Uncanny X-Men #4 by Gail Simone and David Marquez on the art. Art was so fucking good, per
Hmm
usual. Um, I actually like this issue quite a bit. I thought this was maybe the strongest issue so far. Just some good stuff going on. Not not stupid, silly fights with kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The the early part, like the journal of Charles with him and Sarah was a little bit corny, but uh I like the stuff with Rogue and Gambit and Wolverine later on in the issue. It's just really, really making me like these characters more and more.
Now, I didn't get to read the last issue because I was a dummy and I forgot to get it. And does this ladies do something to like um healing factor? Because it's like, yeah, Wolverine's fucked up, but he should be healing quicker than what he is in this.
I don't think the full extent of her powers has been explained.
I gotcha. Because like that was like one thing where I'm like, he should be healing back by now. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like, but um yeah, I liked it. It's like Rogue is one of my least favorite characters to read when she talks because I hate the Southern accent so much.
Hmm.
And then I also kind of hate reading Gambit at times because they kind of lean in on his accent too. And so like there's parts where I'm like, just make him talk normal, please.
Yeah, I understand that.
But I liked it. I thought it was still pretty good. Not as good as the first issue though.
What do you give it?
I'm probably at an 8.
I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Yeah. Okay, and then finish us up. Batman and Robin, Year One, Issue One by Mark Waid and Chris Samney on the art. And oh, I guess he technically co-plotted it too. So that's
Hmm.
pretty neat. But what'd you think, man?
It was fine.
Yeah, that's about how I was with it.
Art is really, really good.
Yeah, art's really good. This is about as much this is as good as you could hope for from a year one story of something that you've already seen about 10,000 times.
Yep.
You know, like I do like the way Mark writes Two-Face.
Hmm.
And I mean the way he writes Batman and Robin both are really good too, but
And
we don't
Alfred.
yeah. And it's like we don't the only difference is like we see those guys being written well by a lot of different people a lot of times. We don't see Two-Face written well very
Yeah,
much.
yeah, that's fair.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, I don't think there's too much more, really. It's just like the art's awesome. This is nothing you haven't seen before, but at least the dialogue is a little bit better than what you've seen before.
yeah, like I honestly don't think you could have had like an outstanding, amazing, perfect Batman and Robin year one, issue one. Like, I
Hmm.
think this is gonna get better, basically,
Yeah.
is what I'm trying to say. Like, I think this is like solid,
Hmm.
but the next issue and from here on, it's gonna get just better and better.
Agreed.
That's my opinion. Unless Mark's like, no, I'm gonna make it worse. Like, that's such a weird way to doing things, but okay, whatever floats your boat.
I'm probably at like a 7.5.
Yeah, I was feeling 8 for this one, but
I'm
now what are you excited for, man?
gonna go with Absolute Wonder Woman, Green Lantern Dark, and Nightwing. First Dan
Right.
Waters issue.
Oh shoot, I didn't know that. I would have picked it up. But I'm gonna go with the new Iron Man, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the Godzilla Monster Piece Theater. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff out this week.
Yeah. And then lastly, I just was like, really quick, thought of something. I was like, oh, what if we did Halloween costume ideas for superheroes or villains? Like what would be something that they could go for when they go trick or treating?
Sure. These are really stupid because it was
Oh,
last minute.
perfect.
Um, Gorilla Grodd as Rillaboom, the Pokemon,
Okay.
just put some
Yeah.
foliage around him and carry around a drum. I think he'd be a good Rillaboom. I think it'd be funny if Wolverine went as a Wolverine, the animal. Um, I think it'd be really funny if there was a Daily Planet Halloween party and Clark Kent went as Superman.
That would be good.
Yeah.
I have a really funny tweet that I saw too, just really quick about Clark
Hmm.
Kent. Clark Kent takes off his glasses to reveal he's Superman. Freddie Prinze Jr. in a 2000s movie. Wow, you're beautiful.
That is good. And then my final one, Blob as a waterbed.
Nice.
Just like pillow with like a hole for his face and then a sheet and he's a waterbed.
There we go. Perfect. So Wolverine was on my choices, but it would just be a wolf man. It's like he's
Yeah.
already hairy and he
Mm-hmm.
wears flannels, so that's about all you need.
Yep.
And then I'll go with the second vigilante as a cowboy. Be be nice and
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
The Flash as Sonic the Hedgehog, and then Sonic as Superman.
Whoa. We might get to see Sonic as the Flash sooner than
Yeah,
later.
I remember that. That was I'm like it kind of it does have like with that it's kind of gotta suck because he's like I mean no offense to the Flash, but it's like he really should be Superman.
Yeah, agreed.
But it's like I get why they're going with the Flash, but he should be
Yeah,
Superman.
he is absolutely that universe's Superman.
Especially if they have Shadow being Batman.
Yeah, maybe they'll give it to Tails.
Yeah.
All right. Well, man, what do you want the people to comment on before we sign off?
Well, give us some Halloween costume ideas for random superheroes and let us know just I don't know. Let us know what books you're excited about. Are you excited about the new Hush? Are you wanting to hear our opinion on the original Hush? Anything like that.
Yeah.
Tell us your favorite and also, lastly, tell us your favorite Halloween candy.
Ooh, that's nice. Yeah, I'd have to think about that, but I definitely want to hear everyone's answers.
Unless it's candy corn. We will judge you if it's candy corn.
I like candy corn, but I don't love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for listening. We hope you had a good time. We would love to stay in chat, but I'm not going to be clever. Casey and I have to go get it on, so we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye. I took my 1 hour pill.
Thank you for listening to the Two Worlds Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Two Worlds Pod, on Twitter at two_worlds_PC, and on Facebook at facebook.com/twoworldspodcast. You can email us with any questions or comments at twoworldspodcast@gmail.com, and if you would, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Two Worlds Podcast on YouTube.